Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runnermate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey Omari, thank you for having me back. Love being here, love doing this thing. As always, it is one of my favorite things to do. And boy, oh boy, have we been on a journey.
Yes.
We've been on such a journey that you and I have been able to have some time off, peek behind the curtain. That's how long this journey has been. Um, uh, of going through all Mission Impossible movies, including the two previous ones that we watched oh so long ago at this point, to build us up to today.
Yes,
Where
today.
Omar, have we done something in theaters before? Our I know maybe at least
Possibly.
one of our Sonics was pretty soon after it had reached home video,
Yeah,
but
possibly. I think the Sonics were always the new ones coming out. So let's watch the previous.
yeah, and
Was it
we
Doctor
almost
Strange?
did we end up doing Doctor Strange? I know
We
we
did
talked
Doctor
about doing
Strange.
Doctor Strange,
We did Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
and we did it while it was in theaters.
If we did it while it was in theaters, or it came to video like the week of.
Okay.
But
All right. Well,
this
whether it's
time,
the first time or it's the second time, it's a time. We have watched every Mission Impossible movie now, including Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
yes, from 2025.
Ethan Hunt and the IMF team continue their search for the terrifying AI known as the Entity, which has infiltrated intelligence networks all over the globe, with the world's governments and mysterious ghosts from Ethan's past on their trail. Joined by new allies and armed with the means to shut the entity down for good, Hunt is in a race against time to prevent the world as we know it from changing forever.
Gotta love Mission Impossible, man.
I mean, you think that they can't raise stakes, and then they raise some stakes.
Raise them up. Yes, indeed. Yes, and we got the whole cast here from the past movies, as well as, Angela Bassett making an appearance as well. So, coming into this, obviously, what we expect is Mission Impossible movies. We say this every
And
time.
I mean, before we get going, as it being something that is in theaters right now, we will talk in spoilers because it would be hard to
Yes.
not.
Yes. There will be
You know,
spoilers.
if you want a non-spoiler version of this, Omari, watching all eight Mission
Yes.
Impossibles now, how did you give me your one sentence? How did you feel about the film?
I enjoyed it.
All right, me too. Get out of here. Get out of here.
There's
Stick
your
around if
one.
you're okay with spoilers.
Exactly. I like that. How did you like it? I enjoyed it. Nice one
uh,
sentence summary of the movie.
all right. You spoilers. You're out. You're gone.
Yes.
You're out. You're gone. Omari Ving Rhames dies in this movie.
Oh my goodness.
They finally actually kill Luther after maybe five
Salute Luther.
five is he
Oh, is
dead
he dead? Yes.
plot peril moments for the audience over the course of this series. Ving Rhames, Luther, the one
Dude.
the after this rewatch, now the one man who is consistent with the fan franchise through with Tom
Yeah,
Cruise.
yeah, the one
He has
man
the
that's in
one film
every
that you're
movie.
like, oh my God, is Ving Rhames not in this? And then the motherfucker
Like,
shows up in the last 3 minutes right before the credits to be like, hey, I'm still here. Bye.
I'm like, yeah, Luther. Luther, my favorite character, not named Ethan Hunt in these movies. As I've made apparent as I watched through
Ooh, that's
these.
good. Uh, I mean, because this is going to be a different kind of episode because I watched it like 4 days ago,
Mm,
and I'm not able to take any notes. I was in a theater. It's a different kind of movie watching experience. I'm gonna have a hard time talking about it in the specifics that we normally kind of do.
mm.
So I'd love for this to also just kind of be a
Oh,
retrospective of our Mission Impossibles. Um,
okay.
top five characters that aren't Ethan Hunt. Go.
All right.
Luther.
So Luther. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and put Ilsa on that list because I did like her as
That's
a.
I was gonna go Luther one, Ilsa two.
Okay.
And then do we put Benji at three, or is there somebody that's worthy of over Benji?
I got Benji. And I think I have Benji on three because he grew on me, and I kind of liked the way they used him in this movie.
Benji annoys me a little bit, but
Well, that's why I say
he's
he grew
he's
on
gonna
me.
be on my top five. I don't know if he's three.
That's why I say he grew on
Like,
me.
or is this exclusively IMF
I'm about to say,
agents? Because
I'm
it
about to
has
say,
been
is it
so
only
far.
good guys? If it's bad guys too, I gotta include old dude from three.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I'm
Yeah,
thinking I'm thinking Lane from from Rogue Nation and Fallout is also a really solid villain.
yeah,
Um,
I do like him. But
Tandy Newton also great.
from the second one,
She's from the second one.
I don't
Haley
know if I
Atwell
like her.
is Haley Atwell is also great. She's the thief
She's
in the
Grace,
last two
right?
films.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grace. Um, I think if I might replace Lane with Haley and keep Philip on there.
Uh-huh.
But Benji would probably move under uh he'd probably move under the other two. Oh no, I'd put him above Grace. Only because I spent so much of both movies Grace was in doubting her.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yes, even this one, even like 75% of the movie, after she had done what she had done to help the man, she gives
Uh-huh.
one line, and I'm like, and now I suspect you again.
Well, and I'm kind of I'm with you a little bit on that because that maybe if there's one criticism that I can think of right now, it is how much emotional weight and reliance we have on this brand new character
Hmm.
who's also very brand new to even being an agent um uh uh in these big pivotal teamwork wins the day moments of this series. You obviously have Luther sidelined very early. I wonder if that was something with Ving Rhames that maybe required. Like, I don't know if I mean, because like he's a great actor, and so it almost made me question to a point if he is struggling with some health issues himself, preventing him from being a larger part of the film. Um, but you sideline him, and then a lot of big moments in the what could be the finale of the franchise go to this very brand new character that we're supposed to feel I don't know, a love? Like, is it
Like they
love?
teased the
Is
love a
it
lot,
is
but at
it
the same
teamwork?
time,
I
yeah.
don't I'm not fully sure on that. That's the one that's one of my few sticking points with the film.
Hmm.
Is that otherwise, it's top to bottom a Mission Impossible movie. He's got to do the thing, and eight bad things are going to happen to him while he's trying to
My
do the thing,
goodness.
and then he still does the thing. And that's going to happen about 4 to 8 times, depending on how action-packed that particular Mission Impossible is.
You're
And
not
that's and
wrong.
that's and that's your movie.
Yeah. I did like that the mission this time at the beginning because they always give them one. The mission was to come the fuck home.
Yeah.
Your
Oh man.
mission, should you
Yeah.
choose to accept it, is to come the fuck home and give us the damn key.
We've
Like,
talked about it. We've talked about it. Everybody looks at these later films as like a different series of films almost.
mhm.
And one of its big contributing factors from the JJ era forward is casting really good actors in these supporting roles.
Yes.
And boy, does Angela Bassett
My
bring
goodness.
so much to this movie as the president.
Yes.
My God. Like I went to the theater on a Monday midday at like 11:30. So there was me and like five other people in the theater, and there was another adult man who was there completely by himself, like looked gave very dad vibes of like, yep, none of my family, like I was there
Uh,
because my wife wasn't interested in going and seeing Mission Impossible. And this guy very much gave the attitude of like, I have two kids at home and my wife, and none of them wanted to come see this movie with me. So I'm just sneaking out today. Um, uh, and I could tell that both of us were on the verge of tears or openly wiping things away in those closing Angela Bassett moments. So good. So, so good.
yeah, she's great. And Angela Bassett throughout just made me realize something about these movies. I don't usually like to play this card, but I actually really like the black people in these movies.
Okay.
Like throughout.
I mean, it's something I would love for us to talk about on this because we've frequently been forced into talking about the other side of the coin because of the things that we select.
Yeah. No, I
The things I
do.
select.
I've selected some things that don't that
That
talk
don't necessarily hold
about
up the culture.
yeah as well, or at least shine a light on racism. But like, yeah, they're never used really in a, let's make a commentary on racism thing. They're just people, which is
Yeah.
always great to begin with. And two, like they're always like chill as fuck allies to the thing. And even like Lawrence Fishburne seemed like he wouldn't be, but it turned out like at the
Lawrence
end,
Fishburne's great.
no, he
Yeah.
was he was like in on everything too. Also, even when he was the villain, he's Lawrence fucking Fishburne, and his deliveries to everything, you're just like, I know he doesn't like us and he's being an asshole, but he's cool. He's cool with the way he does it. He has that authority when he says stuff. Like the authoritative people or what they need to be. The dude in this movie that really cemented it for me, like, obviously I told you he's my favorite non-Ethan character. So of course, obviously he's a black person that is a positive thing on these movies. But the dude on the submarine, like when Ethan goes there and kind of still does his Ethan thing where I'm gonna tell you what I have to, but I'm not telling you the plan, and it's gonna sound really fucking stupid, but I need you to trust me. And this motherfucker just looks at him and goes, "If you want to poke the bear, you're on the right ship." I'm like, yeah, dude, just chill. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I'm not questioning it. Let's do this. Oh, it's dangerous. I'm down. You want to see on some? You see me in the woods with the fighting the bear, help the bear type shit. Uh, but no. So I do like those. Demas, the other dude. I'm not sure if he's black or if he's Hispanic because his last name is Demas.
The
but
guy who
looks
like
black.
joined the crew
Yeah.
in this, who separated from the cops and or
Uh-huh.
the CIA or whoever they are.
Exactly. Like they when they busted out the French chick who apparently is just named Paris.
I loved her in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I didn't
Oh
I
shit, what am
didn't
I talking
much
about? Take fucking Grace out. Put Paris in. I love Paris.
I didn't much vibe with her in the last film. But this one, man, I thought she was incredible. And her fight scenes
Yeah?
are I don't know if she's doing a double or not. I mean, it's pretty traditional in a Tom Cruise movie that they don't use a lot of doubles. Like he
Yeah.
kind of in like even if you didn't go, even if you're not an actor who's like, I do my own stunts, when you go into the movie, like
It's like a
I've seen
respect thing.
actors, yeah, I've seen actors be like, well, it would be weird if all of a sudden I'm using a like when you watch Tom do what he does, and then they're like, all right, we're gonna bring in the stunt double for this guy to roll over the table. You feel
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Anyone can roll over a table. I've rolled over a table. Roll over that table. Uh
Um, Tremel Tillman.
okay, that
Uh,
sounds like a black name. I'm just saying.
Tremel Tillman, he's getting huge because apparently I think he has a very iconic role in Severance,
Okay.
which is becoming a very big show. I haven't checked it out yet. It's it's on the list kind of thing. But he is the commander of that submarine.
Oh, that guy.
Does an
Yeah.
amazing job.
Yeah, no. I do like the black people in these movies, and just because, like I said, they're usually just chill. They're not, the antagonist, nor are they just like a walking stereotype.
Yeah, they're just people.
Yeah, they're just people that happen to be black, and there you have it. Which that's all we're asking. And so that's a pretty cool thing about the movies.
Only people who are stereotyped in these movies are Russians
True. The Russians
because
often
we
are.
can still do that.
The Russians and or the Ukrainians in the first one because I messed up. But not anymore. Now it's just the Russians because it's always the Russians ever since the 80s. As long as we've been alive, the America's been like Russia. That said, that doesn't mean the normal citizens of Russia are bad people. They're normal citizens of Russia that are pretty good people. It's just the people in
How do you know?
charge. Kind of like over here. It's just the people in charge.
You don't know that.
Well, we're all in one.
Russian people could be terrible.
I'm gonna blame it on the people in charge, like I blame it over here.
A lot of us are terrible.
Anyhow, so we're gonna go ahead. Um, nah, the movie was cool, and I what I liked about this one it is they tied. If this is the last one, they did a good job of putting it in that kind of package
Yeah.
because they kept tying things in together from all the other
They
films.
even threw a straight up montage into the film.
Yeah,
Ethan Hunt straight up has a vision of all previous seven movies during this movie.
yeah, and I liked how they're like, yeah, when you busted in to do Langley, you caused this thing to happen. When you got the fucking anti-god, which I think we even talked about in our review of that movie, like they never say what the fucking anti-god is. He just kind of grabs it and gives it to somebody. And now we get the
Turns out it was
idea.
the motherfucking entity, bitch. Tom Cruise is the reason for movies seven and eight.
But he's also the reason movie 7 and 8 succeeded because when he busted into the place, he got the other dude fired and moved him up there so he could be in
Yeah.
the
And
perfect spot.
who's to say if he wasn't there, Owen Davies would have just gotten the rabbit's foot anyway. And then who knows what the fuck the world would have been.
Yeah,
because a crazy fucking arms dealer and a crooked CIA agent are in charge of the world's smartest AI.
yeah. So
Crazy.
mission accomplished. But no, I liked a lot of the stuff in this movie. Fucking, I thought it was interesting when they had the interaction. It's spelled with an ENT interaction. Him and the entity. Um, put the mask on and the thing. I'm like, they're not about to go full blown like we're gonna have a twist at
Matrix.
the end of it, or like we're gonna have a twist at the end where yes, it did corrupt him because Paris told him the whole "it will change you" type thing when he put the mask on. But no, he's still Ethan.
Didn't
Never don't
really
trust.
change him at all.
Didn't change him one bit. And that's what I'm saying. Nope, he's still Ethan. He just he gonna do his thing. You can't corrupt Ethan
Slight
Hunt.
3% more determined. And only because he was already 97% determined.
Now it's full blown 100. Like I'm gonna break up the team. Benji, you take control. It's your team now. I gotta go get arrested. And I'm like, where are you going with this? Which I
For a
like about
second,
these
so
movies.
at this point in the film, I'm thinking one in the back of my mind, I'm like, is fucking Simon Pegg slash Benji gonna carry this franchise forward? Is that what they're about ready to do? Like, this can't be a Simon Pegg movie from here
No.
forward. Like, no offense to Simon Pegg, but you barely made our top five non-Ethan Hunt characters. um, and then also, I'm thinking that this movie, it sounds super weird saying it now, but I thought this movie was going to end with Ethan sacrificing himself in a like he becomes the entity kind of thing. And
There
like,
was
because there kept being these things of like, no, the only person who can control it is
it's
you,
you.
Ethan. And just like, and all these you'll have a split second choice that decides the fate of humanity and all of this stuff. And I just kept being like, is this motherfucker gonna get sucked into the algorithm? Like, is his brain gonna become ones and zeros somehow?
It's supposed to
And he's
change him,
gonna
right?
like he's gonna fight the entity digitally and become the because there's also all this buildup of like, no, you can't destroy the entity because that would end civilization as we know it.
Yeah, and I was like,
Millions of people
how?
would die in chaos because the internet goes down, is what they're saying.
But my thing was like, how do we know the internet goes down just because the entity goes down? The internet existed before the entity.
I don't know because apparently it didn't because we didn't address it.
Yeah. No, we didn't. Unless Luther's pill was also formatted to be a way where you could kill it and get internet back. Something about his
Oh,
thing.
it is. It is. It's some weird algorithm virus that's immediately going to run through the internet and find the entity everywhere and delete it. That's why it needs its original source code is because it needs that source code to find the source code everywhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably it, is that Luther, they don't explain that super well, but again, you don't necessarily need to because it's a Mission Impossible movie. We're not here for like deep geopolitics or
We're
something.
not here for
Uh
scientific accuracy. We're here for a fucking
right.
Mission
But
Impossible
but that
movie.
was but that was another bullet point that was making me think like, is this motherfucker going to go Neo? Like I can't imagine this movie goes there, but it feels like that's what we're building to is like
And
Ethan
with
Hunt walks through some sort of digital gateway and just like
Yeah, I love how this movie also approached a lot of the planning process of things. So they did the big submarine plan, which The planning for the submarine sounded as ridiculous as ever. Oh, we're gonna get the coordinates. We're gonna send it to him, and he's just gonna happen to be listening. And if we're gonna happen to find that place and dig out a square in the ice over the submarine that he will perfectly float up to. He may die in the process, but he gonna float over to the thing, and we're gonna
Good
pull him
thing is
out
that it's going to be
and put
so
him in
cold
there.
that if he dies, he's not going to start decomposing. So we can still bring him back.
And they show like clips of them doing stuff like during the planning process. And I didn't peep that, at least, well, I peeped it because I remembered it when I saw it, but I didn't register that in their theoretic him dying, he was shirtless, floating. And I'm like, what? And then like later, he ends up being shirtless and floating because this motherfucker took the damn suit off. I'm like, okay, Ethan, what are you doing? I understand why he did what he did because the plan had to go wrong immediately because it always does. The fucking Russians waiting at the house where they got the coordinates, the fucking
I
military
like how he jumped
stuff.
that moment when he jumps into the ocean. And then they zoom out really far and it's just to let you like yeah, this motherfucker just jumped into the ocean with zero clue of any like when the head of the submarine is like, what would you have done if we hadn't have popped up out of the water there? And he's like, nothing. He would have he would
He
have
would have died. That would
yeah,
have
he would
been
have
it.
floated away and died. He would have been ate by sharks or something. I don't know.
That's just
That's a
what he,
different movie that never happened.
yeah, that's what he do. He banks on the 1% chance, the 0.5% chance that things are gonna go well, and they always do because he's
Yeah,
Ethan fucking Hunt.
he's one of the luckiest men ever to live. But also somehow
That's the
the one of the most
unluckiest
unluckiest.
because
Yeah.
everything goes wrong first.
Yeah.
Like realistically, this shouldn't go the way it does, but then it does anyway
Yeah.
because
Like
the movie needs to
if you
happen.
ever go to the casino with Ethan Hunt, like you shadow him for his first 9 bets and then you bet on the 10th bet with him.
But yeah, but I did like it because when we finally get to stuff about the plan and they don't have to show them finding the thing on the ice or digging up the square, we just, oh, he's here, he's in the decompression chamber. They found it. We know how they found it because they told us they would earlier in the movie. Now, he told old girl to stay off the ice, and she didn't. She's the only one of the team that went on the ice, aside from the,
Didn't have much of a choice there. It's all
yeah.
ice. But yeah, yeah, is never referenced again. Stay off the ice. What? Just stay off the ice. Okay. Never bring it up, never reference it again. Never have a little wink to the camera moment when they get on the ice. When Tom Cruise comes conscious.
Yeah.
You're on ice. I told you not to be on,
Yeah, I told you not. I told you to stay off the ice. Nope.
Um, which by like bringing everything together, when that motherfucker came out of that cabin door, and I was like, wait a minute, he looks familiar. And then they're like, are you the motherfucker from the first movie? And he's like, I am the motherfucker from the first movie. I was like, motherfucker.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
then
Like,
him and his wife's relationship, oh my God, it pulled on my heartstrings a few different times in this movie.
yeah, I do like their relationship. And one of the things I love about this movie is one of my favorite tropes, and that's the characters. And we have two of them. The character that speaks another language and only that other language, but the party understands, and they understand the party.
Uh-huh.
Because
Just
Paris,
by like
yeah,
and then they're like, oh yeah, I got you.
yeah.
Like,
And then Paris just speaks French the whole time. Doesn't seem like she speaks any English. People only speak English at her for the most part. And she's just, and the conversation is just smooth. Like, I understand Benji knowing French or any IMF people knowing French because they're, from other countries and stuff. or they're spies rather. And
Hmm.
so, but her like never really speaking English at all, just the French, and they're just like, yeah, no, exactly. That trope always cracks me up. Just like, ah, yes, rada rada rada. Oh yes, that's all. Also,
Yeah. Um, Negative of the
negative,
film.
negative, negative.
Something that that brings the previous one down for me as well.
Ooh,
Um, uh, uh, and this is nothing against Isai Morales, who plays Gabriel.
okay,
But neither of these films really have a good villain for Ethan Hunt to be to have any kind of back and forth with.
yeah.
When the chess game is getting played against that series of morphing blue dots, it doesn't have the same stakes as Philip Seymour Hoffman. And
Yeah.
granted, I'm being unfair grabbing the greatest one of the series potentially, but you know, you also have Lane. You have the guy from the second one who did
Yeah,
some really
the
interesting choices.
because he was the counter to Ethan. He was another former agent counter type deal.
Right. Um,
Yeah, Gabriel was more campy than anything. He
well,
had a lot of campy
And he's
moments.
technically more on the henchman level. Like he's
Yeah,
like on the Henry Cavill status in
yeah.
Fallout. He's not technically the main villain. The main villain is the entity in both of these films. So it takes that part of the franchise away a little bit for me. And yeah, like you said, uh, Gabriel is performed a little too Shakespearean at times, or something. Like
Or
I,
yeah, like I
the
don't know.
campiness is a good word. There's something,
Yeah. Yeah, there's like moments where
there's something very developed that he's doing that I
developed.
I don't know if it's needed.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, like you said, to take nothing away from the actor himself, the character will be memorable enough in its own right for being who he is, but
Mhm.
it's yeah, he's
He
not.
is the character is who he is. I mean, like I said, the script puts him into a henchman's role. He
Yeah.
isn't the main villain by definition. So he doesn't get to have those really weighty moments because a lot of it, like in the previous film, it's just the entity has told me that this will happen and it will happen
Hmm.
kind of stuff. And in this
Ethan.
one, he's just a little bit angry
Yeah.
about the first film going on, so he's playing it, but it's still a lot more of the like, well, I know the future, so I'll just be there kind of thing.
Hmm.
Meh.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. The But no, when I was thinking about Grace being evil, it was right after she saved Dude. And then she just randomly goes, hey, so we just did this impossible plan to get the Patavoka, whatever it's called. What if we don't destroy the entity? What if we control it? What if you control it? I'm like, why would you just randomly suggest now that Ethan controls? We're evil this whole time, you fucking. Oh, now you're gonna be like, what if you control it, huh? What do we do that instead? Instead of stopping the nuclear holocaust, let's go ahead and you control it. But yeah, then they decide to get to the final plan where they gotta go here, get Gabriel to fucking put the thing on there on his own. He's like, he'll be part of this team whether he likes it or not. He thinks he's gonna be winning by putting the poison pill on there and taking control. Instead, he'll be giving us what we want. But then we need that blink, we need that 100 milliseconds time for you to grab something. And Grace has to be the one to do it. When he said Grace has to be the one to do it, I'm like, okay, maybe she's not. And they needed to call back to the line at the beginning of the movie, which they did a lot of things where they set this movie up to where we can call back things from throughout while also ignoring things that we set up to call back to. But the what's the difference between a good thief and a great one? Timing. So they were like, you got the best timing out of anybody here. So you got to be the one to pull this thing because it's pull it too soon, it doesn't get infected. Pull it too late, everybody dies. You got 100 milliseconds, a blink of an eye. And I will say, when we are in the final mission and the stuff, oh yeah, the submarine thing, that whole thing lasted for fucking ever of him traveling around the submarine to get the Padoka. Uh, and that may have gone a little bit too long for me, but I understand it. You know, Tom Cruise wants to have submarine adventures. He's gonna have submarine adventures. Um, and of course the crazy. Oh, that man is in nothing but his fucking draws in sub-zero water, trying to float up to the. And he took off the fucking breathing device. Like, Tom, it was crazy enough that you took off the fucking clothes. You taking off the breathing device? You were really just banking on your team being there in that moment, which, we said it earlier with him jumping into the ocean. That's what he banks on. But
It's the only option
that's fucking
at that point.
crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Just for I was scrolling through some of the IMDb trivia of this film, and Tom Cruise is 5 years older in this movie than John Voight was in the original film. John Voight, the old man in movie one, is 5 years younger than Tom Cruise is in this film. Um, while we're on stunts, obviously that whole underwater sequence, insane and actually done by Tom Cruise and actually underwater and all that shit. Um, uh, the final sequence,
The fucking planes.
the planes, was all real. Um, he that was multiple days of shooting. Um, he would fully pass out at times because it took so much energy to crawl around those planes from position to position while they're actually up in the air flying, um, that he had to literally intentionally take naps while like he would go from one position, they would film him crawling up to like from the under to the wing, and then once he got up to the wing, he would like they would fly around for like 15 minutes while he tried to sleep and would basically pass out from exhaustion. And then he could wake up with his batteries a little bit more charged, and then he could make the climb for the cockpit area. Um, the sequence where he jumped and his parachute caught fire. Obviously, Tom Cruise actually jumped and then they lit his parachute on fire 12 times.
12 times. Because they had to get the shot right.
Who knows? They may have ended up using shot number one. I don't know. I didn't hear that many details on it. That the dude is just fucking crazy.
Oh my goodness. Like, yeah. Yeah, that's like you said, it's one of those things where you would feel pressured to do your own stunts because, okay, if he's lighting his parachute on fire and jumping from a plane 12 times, I can take a bump. You know, I can take a bump or two. Like that's crazy. But no, that whole plane sequence with him crawling up in it, the planes flipping upside down, him kicking the other guy out. I'm not sure how Ethan survived. I know how Tom Cruise survived because it's a movie, but they didn't show him opening like a secondary parachute. They just showed his first one burning and him just falling to the ground.
He no, he opens a second one, I
Oh, he
thought.
does?
I think
Okay.
so. I mean, obviously I don't traditionally I would just pull it right up and
Yeah.
confirm our thoughts. But yeah, it's still in theaters.
Yeah.
Um
When
I'm scrolling
Kittredge and
through
the
this little
motherfucker
stunts
who they
montage video
revealed
just
to
to make sure we're
be
not.
when Kittredge and the motherfucker who's revealed to be the son of John Voight show up and ruin the last plan, it's like, why? Why are you even here right now?
Weren't things hard enough?
It's like that.
Like I feel like with each sequence we could remove one obstacle and it would be still so tense. It would be so tense, and you would still be like, man, I don't know how they're going to get out of this one. Maybe even two obstacles per thing, per quest line. Like
Like, damn,
it's
this is
insane. The plane sequence. He does that two different times on two different planes.
he missed the first plane, and so he just jumps on a second one so he can catch up with the first one, but he has to climb onto it.
Insane.
Fucking Simon or Benji gets shot, and I'm like, oh, not Benji too. They're like, oh, we're gonna lose Luther and Benji in this. I'm like, this better. Well, when Luther died, I was like, this better be the
Man, I
last
was
one.
more upset with the couple sitting out with the bomb than I was Benji. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's like I said, he grew on me.
Right.
Like over the movies, he's
And I don't mean to be hating on Benji. It's just, I don't know. It's just like I really emotionally connected with that little Inuit lady. And when I was like, when it was like that's another complaint, but it's part of the fabric of the movie is God, they death tease so much. Like if they make you like a character, if any character is somewhat charismatic, they're gonna fucking tease that character's death at some point in this film. And
yeah.
it's gonna and 95% of the time nothing happens. But still you're gonna be like, are they gonna fucking kill this little sweet
Yeah, I'm like,
lady?
why did the two of them need to die? And then when what's his name said he's gonna stay out there too, I'm like, why are you staying out here? They're gonna disarm the bomb.
I mean, thinking from a cop military perspective, he has the right thought that like there's been a lot of motherfuckers with guns in this scenario very, very recently. And we're just gonna walk away and leave these two people staring at this machine,
Yeah.
who neither of them can defend themselves. Somebody should be out there guarding them. It's a very yeah, it's I took that as a like I get it, and he's
Yeah.
probably right. Somebody probably needs to watch over these guys.
That was
Way
my
to way
second
to way to
thought.
play the
My
sacrifice.
first thought was he was gonna sabotage him. But my
Yeah,
second thought was what you said. But I was just like, what the hell? Okay, no, maybe he just needs to defend and he's gonna have a fight himself where somebody comes back in to try and stop them. But the fact that we had two of those bombs where it's like it'll go nuclear unless you disarm it, in which case it just becomes a normal bomb that will still kill you. We had two of those in the same movie. And it's like, God damn. But no. We save the day, blink of an eye. We get the plane flight. The fucking putting the thing on while he's falling from the sky, possibly dying. I'm like, when Luther died, though, I was like, this better be the last one. Killing off Luther. Set. Fucking. And I thought Ethan was just gonna fall to the ground and die because Luther had his whole speech earlier about we live and die in the shadows for those who save the world and those, or for those who will beat and those we won't.
I'm kind of pissed he didn't die.
Yeah,
I feel like it would have been better if he died. And that's not, I'm not, I don't, it's not like I'm looking for people to die. I just said I didn't want any of those other people to die. And I hate when they death tease. But I felt like that was the perfect moment if you're going to kill Ethan Hunt.
it's a fitting end. He
Yeah,
saves the fucking world.
in the biggest way he's ever saved the world. Like it was literally about ready to be nuclear annihilation across the globe. Um, uh, yeah, I feel like it would have been the perfect. I thought we were about ready to go into, and then you had Angela Bassett primed right there. Like if you fade into a speech to the public of
About
like, yeah, of like, here's this man who's always lived in the shadows, but you have no idea how many times he has saved you and everyone you loved. His name is Ethan Hunt. You know, that would have been,
oh
oh,
yeah, she would have gave a
that would have been
great speech
amazing.
too.
Yeah, that would have been so good, so good. But you know, they want to put like somebody's gonna pay some money for Mission Impossible 10 at some point.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, the ending was too open for a sequel. Like, it's like, okay, maybe this ain't the last movie.
It's probably, I mean, Tom Cruise was 63 in this film. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's 63. I thought he was in his 50s.
Nah, nah. He's 63. Um,
That man could have
uh,
had an alternate life as a pro wrestler with how much he does not want to stop doing his profession.
right? Um, uh, the way they built this as an ending, but then kept him alive, I would assume it's going to be what we have already theorized, which is
Someone else
like,
takes up the mantle.
yeah, we give maybe 5 years to let it breathe, and then some dude in Hollywood right now who's like 22 and continues a hot streak will be the next big IMF agent, to where at some point in their film Ethan Hunt comes out and like, your mission, if you choose to accept it, kid. You
Yeah,
know, um I gotta assume that's where this is going. I would have liked a real bookend on the story. I
same.
think that would have been really cool.
I agree. Like I agree that this would have, especially with the way they were wrapping all the other movies together. Like if they would have kept this movie in its own this story box, then maybe. But they literally were like, how much of the previous movies can we make plot points for this and bring this together as if it was the ending of the series? So I agree with you on that one. But nonetheless, the series will continue. And who knows? We could both be wrong, and Tom Cruise, 68 years old, is
There could be another
fucking.
one 17 months from now. I'm
Yeah.
not, although I've heard that him and McHugh are going to be working on a Days of Thunder sequel, if it's not already in production, because that's their life now, I guess, is just taking Tom Cruise movies and turning them into franchises.
Fair enough.
Because McQuarrie, or McHugh, I think is how Tom Cruise refers to him, the guy who's done the last three Mission Impossibles. He also did the Top Gun, the modern Top
Maverick.
Gun. Yeah. And then I believe they are currently making a Days of Thunder sequel, which is Tom Cruise's NASCAR movie from like the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, God. Dude, okay. Live your life, Tom. Live your life. Live your fucking life. But yeah, that was Tom Cruise. That was Tom Cruise. That was Mission Impossible.
All right. All
Final
right.
Reckoning.
I am going to put Mission Impossible 2 at the bottom.
All right.
Second from the bottom, I'm going to put Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. In the third spot, I am going to do the original. In the fourth spot up, I am going to do Ghost Protocol.
Okay.
Right now, I am going to sit this one right above Ghost Protocol. Then it's going to go Rogue Nation, Fallout, Mission Impossible 3.
Okay. So, having rewatched Fallout and Dead Reckoning 1, mine is going to be I have one at the bottom,
Uh-huh.
primarily because the one I have above it, which by because something has to be down that low. By the way, I like all the movies, but because something has to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 2. I like it more than one just because of the John Woo-ness of it all. That kind of stuff
Yeah.
just speaks to me. Then I have the fifth one, which is Rogue Nation.
Yep.
Yeah, I have Rogue Nation. Then I have seven. So the one before this, Dead Reckoning. Then I have Final Reckoning because I like the way it tied the movies together in fourth place. Then I have Ghost Protocol, Fallout 3.
Nice.
Like rewatching Fallout, I did like it a lot more. And yeah, 3, I just I like the acting in the movie.
3, I think, is the best version of all of the things. You make the only detractor I can think of off the top of my head for 3 is it's very strong in its cinematic choices. Like the cinematography, the color
Hmm.
gradient, the color filters used, the lens flaring. Um, it's I mean it is what created the J.J. Abrams lens flare style. As it started happening accidentally originally on Mission Impossible 3, and then when they got Star Trek, they were like, let's pump this motherfucker with lens flare. So maybe that's the one detractor you could make for 3, but yeah, for me it's the best of all worlds. That is Mission Impossible sequences.
Yeah. So there
All
you
righty,
have it.
man. That is Mission Impossible. My goodness, what a journey it has been.
Indeed. So
Omari, what are we doing next week?
we are going to go with something slightly a bit more lighthearted. We're gonna go with the movie from the early 2000s. I'm gonna go with the I'm not gonna say classic because I don't think it is. We're going with an older film called Sky High.
Sky High.
Yes, and it's not the kind of high you're thinking. We got Sky High. That's what we're gonna be watching next week. Oh, so that'll be fun. Meanwhile, you can catch everything else on the channel. 3 years worth of stuff on this channel. We got our own Mission Impossible playlist going too as well. So you can keep all of those if you want to catch those
You got
out
them all in a playlist.
on the Mission Impossible ones. Yeah, you kind of put me in that corner in one of the previous ones.
Oh, right, because you put it right here while we're talking.
Well, if we keep talking, I won't be able to. That's what I learned on the last one. I couldn't go back far enough. Anyway, we also have, our Saturdays, watch sports, two guys, three topics, sprinkle a little information in your sports conversation, but you got it like to see the sports talk. Also have a Twitter and Twitch at Geotopic. That is GIOTAVI. Come on in, stop on by. Bill, you got anything else you want to say to the folks?
Put it right here. Put it right here.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Adios.